Hello, everybody, and I welcome all of you to Online Study for You. And this is a video on the pseudocode questions for the Capgemini examination. So, we are going to take up some pseudocode questions in this video and we're going to solve them now. And we have a major announcement that is going to come within 1 or 2 days, and the announcement is regarding the Capgemini pseudocode materials for sale. So you're going to get the premium quality Capgemini pseudocode materials, and this will be released in 2 days from now. So please wait for our announcement video where we'll be uh, uh, releasing the pseudocode materials. So this material will be 149 rupees for the Capgemini package, which contains 20 fully solved questions, Capgemini questions videos, and you can buy this from our website onlinestudyforyou.in website. So you can buy it clearly there and you will have lifetime access, and doubt clearing sessions for your questions will also be available. We wanted kind of full support where we will reply to your question right away, but because currently we are working on other examinations, we are working hard for you, so we don't really have that much of time, but we'll frequently have some sessions where you can ask your question and we'll try to solve your doubt regarding the Capgemini pseudocodes. So that is the announcement. Please stay tuned to get premium quality materials. So let us start our today's video. So this is the first question. Consider the pseudocode mentioned below. How many print statements will be executed in this code? So this is the given pseudocode. They are not the code. Don't get confused with that. So integer a, b, c, set a to 8, b to 10, and c to 6. If a is greater than c and b plus c is greater than a, print a. And if so, this if condition is going to end here. So there is another if condition that is going to end here, and there is another if condition that is going to end here. They're asking us how many print statements will be executed. Option A is 3, option B is 1, option C is 0, and option D is 2. Now let us try to see what is happening here. Integer A, B, C. So this is just like declaring three integer variables in your C code. So we are declaring A, B, and C as three integer variables. So set A to 8. So this is just like setting the values, okay, in pseudocode. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to say if A is greater than C. This is just if condition, so you don't need to worry. This is not anything new. You have done this in code, but this is in pseudocode, so you'll get confused. There is no indentation, etc. So this end if means that we have finished the scope of this end if condition. Okay, that's it. So first is if A is greater than C and if B plus C is greater than A, this condition will become true. Now check the value of A. A is 8. C is 6, so this condition is true, and we have B plus C. What is the value of B plus C? The value of B plus C is 10 plus 6, that is 16, and the value of A is 18. So 16 is greater than 18. This is also true, hence this condition becomes true, hence this if condition will get executed. So totally one print statement executed. Now again check the next condition. The next condition, if is C greater than B, the value of C is 6, the value of B is 10. So this condition is false because C is lesser than B. Or we have OR condition here. Remember, A plus C is greater than B. The value of A is 8, C is 6, 8 plus 6 is 14, 14 is greater than B, that is 10. This is true. Since this is OR condition, it needs at least one of this statement to be true, hence this statement is true. Our print statement will be executed, so we have totally executed two print statements. Now come to this one. So here we have B plus C mod A. So that is nothing but B plus C modulus of A equals 0, that is equal to 0. We are comparing here. Okay, this equals means comparison. Now what is happening in this comparison is, what is the value of B plus C? The value of B plus C is 16, mod A, the value of A is 8, is equal to 0. We are checking. So 16 twice you get 8 twice you get 16. So this value is actually equal to 0 because 16 is fully divisible by 8. You don't need to do this division here. So this is fully division. This condition is true. So this is true, and hence this print statement will be executed. So totally 3 print statements got executed here. So that is all the print statement that we have. This is the first, this is the second, this is the third, and hence option A is the correct answer. All the 3 print statements are executed. So this is very easy. Okay, so some students get afraid because there are a lot of lines, so you don't need to worry. Let's go to the next question. So for this question, A is the answer. Let's go to the next question. That is the question 2. What will be the output of the following pseudo code? So integer A equal to 2, B is equal to 3, integer result is equal to 1. So while B not equal 0, result equal to result into A, B equal to B minus 1, end while. So this while loop ends here. This is very important to note down. Okay, if result is greater than 5, A equal to 1, else A equal to 5. So this if condition ends here, and there is a else case here. You need to note that. Okay, so this is the else. Next we have print result and A. So these two are printed. What will be printed on the screen? Option A 6 1, option B 8 1, option C 7 3, option D 3 4. Let us try to understand what is given in the code. So integer A equal to 2 and B equal to 3, just like declaring your variables, nothing much. So A is 2 and B is 3. Next what we have, result equal to 1. So we are creating a variable called result and we are storing 1 inside it. Next, while B not equals to 0, that is while B is not equal to 0, we are executing some statements. These are those two statements, result equal to result into A. Okay, so result equal to result into A. Initially the value of result is 1. Initially the value of result is 1. So now result equal to result into A. Now what happened is result into 1 into the value of A is 2. So now the updated value of result became 2. Right? Now what we did is we said B equal to B minus 1. So the value of B became 2. Again, since this is a loop, this goes back to the condition checking. While B is not equal to 0, this condition became true. Why? Because B is 2, it is not equal to 0. Again, result equal to result into A. The value of result is already 2. So 2 into A is nothing but 2. 2 into 2 is 4. So the new value of result is 4. Okay, that is being stored here. This is the value. Okay, so again it goes back here. It decreases the value. B equal to B minus 1. So the value of B becomes 1. Again it goes back here. B is not equal to 0. This condition is true because the value of B is 1. It is not equal to 0. And hence again result equal to result into A. That is 4 into 2. So that is nothing but 8. Okay. So now you got 8 here. Again B equal to B minus 1. So value of B became 0. And you went back here, B not equal to 0. This condition now becomes false because B is equal to 0. So this will execute until B is not equal to 0. So it comes out of the loop and goes here. Now here what we're checking is if result is greater than 5. So the value, what is the value of result that we got? The value of result that we got is 8. My bad. Okay. The value of result is 8. So if result is greater than 5, A equal to A minus 1. This will become true because result is 8. So A equal to A minus 1. What is happen? The value of A becomes 1 and the value of B is already 0. That was done here. So this else part will not be executed since this condition became true. At the end we are printing result and A. The value of result is 8. The value of A is 1. So option B, 8 and 1 is the correct answer for this question. This was again very simple one. So option B, 8 and 1 is the correct answer. Now this next question that we are going to take now is a little bit different for you. Okay, so this is the third question. A new language has 15 possible letters. Okay, it is a new language that we are creating. 8 different kinds of punctuation marks and a blank character. So now Rahul wants to create two data types. Okay, this question is about data types in pseudocode. Okay, you should be very well versed with bits, bytes, and exponential concepts in order to understand this. Okay, so Rahul wants to create two data types, first one which could store the letters of the language, and a second one which could store any characters in the language. So the number of bits required to store these two data types will be respectively option A 3 and 4, option B 4 and 3, option C 4 and 5, option D 3 and 5. Now let us try to understand again what is happening here. So we are creating a new language. Okay, a new language has 15 characters. It has 15 characters. In English we have 26 characters, 26 alphabets. There are 26 letters. Okay, my bad. Characters include all these. So it has 15 letters and 8 different kinds of punctuation marks, that is comma, multiplication symbol, comma, semicolon, full stop, exclamatory symbol, question mark, etc. So 8 different punctuation symbols are there and a blank character, and we have one more character that is blank. Okay, now what is the problem is, there is a guy named Rahul who wants to create two data types. We have integer, character, float, and double in C language, and we know the size of these different data types. For example, integer has 4 bytes, character has 1 bytes, float again has 4 bytes, double has 8 bytes. It is the size of these data types, right? Now Rahul here wants to create two new data types. Let us call these data types X data type and Y data type. Now the first one could store the letters of the language. So the first one, he wants to store all the letters of the language, only letters. And the second one, see they have given here, first one could store the letters of the language, and the second one could store any character in the language. So any character meaning these 15 letters, 8 punctuations, and a blank character. So what is the total by adding these three? So 15 plus 1 is 16, 16 plus 8 is 24. So he wants to do 24 characters in this new data type Y. Okay, let us write this in different colors so you can clearly see. So X is one data type and Y is another data type. Now the number of bits required to store these two data types will be, how many bits do you need to store 15 data letters? How many bits do you need to store 24 different characters? Let me just erase this. So we now know how many characters we want to store. Now if I have one bit, let us suppose I have one bit like this. Okay, one bit, this is the one bit. How many characters or how many different inputs are possible? Remember, all these are in binary. Okay, so the only two possible value for this is 0 or 1. So if you have one bit, you can store 2 power 1, that is nothing but two different combinations, that is 0 and 1. Let us suppose you have 2 bits. So if you have 2 bits, you can store 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Totally for 2 bits you can store 4 different combinations. Now how many letters do we want to store? 15 combinations. Okay, but 15 is not a multiple of 4. So let us just list down what are the others power of 2 that we have. 2 power 3 is 8, 2 power 4 is 16. So if you see here, our 15 lies here. Okay, this is X. So since x lies here, we should always take the upper one, because if we have 2 power 4, in 2 power 4 there is 16, so you can store all these 15 characters. That means for this x data types we need 4 bits so that it can store this 16. The y can store 24. It needs to store 24. So you need to write down the next one. After 2 power 4 we need 2 power 5. 2 power 5 is nothing but 32. This 32 can contain all this 24. That is correct. So how many bits do we need? For y we need 5 bits. That is nothing but option C. 4 and 5 is the correct answer for this question. Okay, as simple as that. There will be a lot of questions coming from these concepts where you will be asked to understand different new data types and solve these kind of bits problem, where you have to be familiar with all these exponents and all. So we have covered a lot of these in our premium material, so you should definitely check it out to crack the Capgemini examination. Let us go. So for this question, 4 and 5 are the answer. Very simple. Let us go for the fourth question. Bhavya wants to make a program to print the sum of all perfect squares, where the value of the squares go from 0 to 50. She writes a pseudocode which is given below. That is this pseudocode. Okay. Does this pseudocode have an error? If yes, which one statement will you modify to correct the program? So this is the given pseudocode. Integer I is equal to 1 comma a, integer sum is equal to 0, while a is less than 50, sum is equal to sum plus a, I equal to I plus 1, a equal to I into I. So we have a bracket here for this while, so we don't need to worry, but let us still draw this to be comfortable. And then you are printing sum. The answers options are A, statement 1, that is this statement, there is a comment here. Option B, statement 2, so we have to modify this statement. Option C, that is this statement we have to modify. Option D, we have to modify this statement. Or option E, there is no error. If you want to solve, we can solve now. Let me just hide these options for a bit and let us understand the program. Now, let us try to understand what is the question once again. So Bhavya wants to write a program to print the sum of all the perfect squares. So what are the perfect squares? The perfect squares are nothing but 1 is a perfect square because it is a square of 1. 4 is a perfect square. 9 is a perfect square. 16 is a perfect square. 25 is a perfect square. 36 is a perfect square. 49 is a perfect square. Next perfect square is 8 square, that is 64. That doesn't lie in 0 to 50. She wants a perfect to print this series between 0 to 50. Okay, that is this series. She wants to print this as output. She writes a pseudocode, that is this pseudocode. Does this pseudocode have an error? We have to find out. If there is an error, which of these marked statements we will modify? So let us try to understand what is happening in this pseudocode. So initially int I is equal to 1. So a variable named I will be created and 1 will be stored inside it, and a variable named a will be created. Okay, so integer sum is equal to 0. So if you created another variable called sum and you assigned 0 to it. Now while a is less than 50, while this a is less than 50, you are going to say sum is equal to sum plus a. Then I is equal to I plus 1. So you are increasing the counter, and then you are going to say a is equal to I into I. So first I will be 1. So your sum will become 1. Your a will become 1, and then I will become 2. So you will get 4. Then I will become 3. You will get 9. Then I will become 4. You will get 16, and so on. But if you see, this statement is correct, this statement is correct, this statement is correct, we have to change this statement. Why? Because we are not initializing any value to this a here. So we are saying sum is equal to sum plus a. So sum is equal to sum plus, what will be the value of a that will be executed here in the first time? There is no value here. Okay, so we have to change this to assign a value to this a in the beginning. So since we assigned I is equal to 1, we will also assign a equal to 1. Now what will happen? Sum is equal to sum plus 1. So that is nothing but in the first step this will become 1. Next I will become 2, and again a will become I into I, that is nothing but 2 into 2. So now a will become 4. Next it will go back and come here, and sum is equal to sum plus a, that is 1 plus 4, that is nothing but 5. So we want to find the sum of all these numbers. Okay, then I will become 3, this will become 9, and so on. Okay, so you have to change this first statement to get the correct answer. So if you take a look at the options again, option A, statement 1 is the correct answer for this question. Okay, I hope you understood all these questions. These were some of the questions, some type of the question that will be solved in our premium material. Once again, this is the announcement. We'll be releasing the videos Capgemini series in 2 days, and it is at a nominal price of 149 rupees, because we want to pay our teachers who are working to create all these videos, and we have to maintain our websites and give high quality material to all. So if you really want to crack this, a lot of students have cracked by taking our materials. So we have proven results. Okay, so we have proven results. So that is why you can check out our website and you can buy this in 2 days. Okay, so maybe by the end of tomorrow, we will have the material ready and we will give you an update. And wait for our channel. So click the bell icon to get the notification whenever we upload the video tomorrow, so that you can buy the material as soon as it is out, and you can crack your examination. So thank you for watching this video. We will be bringing more such videos even for free on this channel. So consider subscribing to our channel and pressing the bell icon. So thank you for watching.